just as the neighbors were starting to like us. That's straight piped. Dave's Bentley, straight piped. The Squadra Corsa, straight piped. The Mercy, you guessed it, straight piped. Sorry everyone. So weirdly, the Mercy's strangely practical. I mean, a Turbo S doesn't have a front that big. Damon's eating a lot of grapefruit fruits, and I just keep finding them lying around the place. Right, so, taking the Mercy, taking the Squadra, taking the Senna, taking Dave's straight pipe flame tuned Bentley Continental GT V8. Oh, I love it! That's the oily water from the condensation off the pipe. Kind of matches the theme. If you've seen the other side of Dave's Bentley, it's also black. Garrett's new wrap, look at this. Dude, this new wrap is so cool. I love it. Oh, banana yellow inside. It looks like the fuselage off a jet.
Oh,
They launched the new Lamborghini Temerario.
Pterodactyl was revealed 5 minutes ago.
There are a few things that have become muscle memory after spending a few days in this car. The first thing is this button right here, traction control. You've got to turn that off. Not because you want to be a hooligan, but because the traction control is so invasive that you basically cannot put any power down. So that's our first. And then nose lift right there. We also let it warm up a little bit. So this gearbox, cool gearbox, but first thing in the morning, oil's a bit thick, gearbox is a bit heavy, and it just takes a little bit of warming up. So, and then once you've got the engine warmed up, then you can get out and get those gears moving to warm up the gearbox temperature as well. You ready? There's just a cool car culture around here. Even outside of the sort of realms of Car Week, there's cool cars everywhere. Something about California, it's a highly concentrated space of petrol heads. It's not just supercars, like there's like jacked up trucks around, low riders are parked on the corner of this Airbnb street that we've got here. Look, speaking of car culture, this guy's just hanging around. Very cool. Man, I know I say this often on the channel, but cameras do not do these things justice. The Revuelto is sculpturally phenomenal. Look at it. And I really love that they went for the open air engine bay. Proper piece of kit. The Carrera Van GT amongst all these supercars. I don't know why. One of the cars that brings me the biggest smile throughout Car Week is when all of us are together inside the Carrera Van GT. I come back and my cheeks actually ache from laughing so much. How cool is this? So these are our rides into the Quail, these resto modded Broncos. They are beautiful. All right, we are in the EV conversion Bronco. So let's see what this thing's all about.
These are the first 2 prototype builds for the company. So it's this one and the red one behind us. But then we've been selling the gas version, which is a 5-liter Coyote V8 restoration. That one runs a 10-speed automatic transmission.
That's very cool.
Curry axles, Atlas transfer case, you know, full frame off restoration. Everything we do is brand new parts that we install. So we keep the original frames, which is pretty cool because we keep the original VIN for the vehicle.
Okay.
And then from there, we blast and powder coat the frames.
Yes.
And then we build everything up with new parts. So all of the sheet metal is actually all brand new reproduced sheet metal.
Fantastic.
Everything we do in-house, all this interior, this upholstery, the headliner on the roof, the roll, everything is done in-house.
Oh, yeah.
The paint's done in-house, and then of course all of the general assembly. This is a very cool, unique vehicle because it's a dual motor electric Bronco. Both of those have a wave track limited slip differential, very capable still off-road. It's not quite the Billy Goat that the
You can
gas
still off-road this, yeah?
Right.
Oh dude, independent front suspension, which makes this thing a dream to drive. You know, all modern SUVs, all modern cars have a double wishbone suspension in the front. So we've gone to that because we were able to use that with the direct drive motors that we use. It's got the conventional CV half shaft axles. So we put that in there, and then we took a tried and true design, latest generation Toyota Tacoma, re-engineered their suspension bits and attached it to the Bronco frame. So this is a 2018 plus Tacoma independent front suspension. Just
What a great way to get into
fantastic.
quail, though.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is a side of quail I've
We're
never
in a
seen.
farm truck on a farm.
On a farm.
Yeah.
How brilliant. And it's stunning out here. You would never know we're about to enter one of the greatest car shows on earth. as we pass by this foliage. Do you know what's quite nice? You know, not to sound like all soppy, but to take in the countryside without the sound of an engine.
Yeah.
For this application is really nice. Oh, it goes. It rips. Oh, it really moves. For a truck, it's pretty impressive. Thanks for the ride, that was awesome.
You bet. We go into park, that electronic parking brake comes off.
Nice.
Good to go.
How cool was that? How cool were the Broncos?
They're electric.
That was awesome, man. I've never been in through the back door before. Oh, quail.
They're cool.
Okay, so that's us in and out of quail. You've just seen the B-roll. The reason I've done that is because we nipped in to get the new Lambo Huracan successor and add that to the video. If you haven't seen that, hop over to the main channel because we've just gone and made a mildly controversial piece of content on that car. But the problem with it all is there's so much music blaring out there. Like there's a live band and then there's jets flying over and then there's more live bands and just the audio's terrible. So that's why we rolled B-roll and that's why we did the video that we did with the new Lambo. So go and check that out. This thing's really thirsty. It drinks with 2 straws. Thankfully, fuel out here, not too expensive, but it's more the inconvenience of filling up every 100 miles. It dumps so much fuel into the exhaust and creates so much great sound that you're in high RPMs all the time just to stimulate the sensation of driving this NAV12. So that's why I'm at the pump all the time. Also, in the UK, why do we not have that functionality? So any highlights outside of the pterodactyl at the quail?
The Gordon Murray, Nicky Lauder XP1.
The T50S? The track one?
The street one's soft as hell.
T50S, yeah.
That thing
Street one's
is
soft as hell.
insane with the roof scoop and everything, and you sit in the center of the car.
Phenomenal machine.
V12.
Road legal, one of those would be cool.
Oh, bro.
I liked that black Diablo that we saw.
Yeah. It's a Diablo GTR.
GTR
I
was,
only made 30 of them. They were
mega.
not road legal, but you can get them road legal.
that was very cool.
It's basically a Diablo.
Yeah, and I
But
liked the
hardcore.
Koenigsegg display. It was like,
The Koenigsegg display
like
was
30
cool.
cars there to celebrate 30 years of Koenigsegg.
You know, my
Good fun.
favorite car wasn't the car I thought would be my favorite when I went there. It's not any of the Yescos or the new Temerario. It was the CC850 that they did with white wheels and a
white
white
one?
paint
That
job
was
with
so cool.
white calipers. Triple white.
When are we going to get you to the factory?
You know what, man? I've already been there. My photo's on the wall.
It's not lying. Our photo is
true,
on the wall.
yeah.
In several places, actually.
I would like to go
There's a few
sooner
parts.
than later.
I would like you to drive the CC850
On the-
manual experience
On the runway?
on the runway.
Damn.
Mate, it's unbelievable.
I would love
It
to.
is. I found it quite a profound driving experience. It felt like a modern day F40 with like another 1,000 horsepower. That's what it feels like. It's bonkers.
Nothing.
I'm serious.
On top of
on
the-
top of it.
On top of what it's already got.
Yeah. All right, we're done. Speaking of white theme, this is what I've been driving around in all week. If you've been watching the channel, that is. It's like a sort of half GT1 inspired. I'm there, man. Half GT1 inspired. It's not completely built yet, but Damon's doing a GT1 kit on it. When's the kit arriving?
It's here.
It's arrived?
It needs to clear customs, which it should have done in the last few days, or if not, it'll do that just after the weekend. And then this thing's going into the body shop for the better part of probably 45 days. Have the entire front end torn off, and some things need to be cut and modified for the race kit to fit. Overall, it's 5 inches wider, the front end.
Do you know what? Weirdly, that's going to help with the placement of this car because as Damon was educating me earlier, so it's one of the few cars where the arse is disproportionately wider than the front. So parking is difficult. It's a big sort of triangle shape almost. Parking it's tricky.
I find parallel parking, it is tricky. I've driven it for so long now, but I find that easier than trying to back up straight into a parking stall. I still can't do it 5 years later.
Do you do full Balboni style and sit on the sill?
I sit on the edge and I still end up crooked. You can't park straight both sides between these two vehicles. I will film you doing it.
Seriously? It's that tricky?
Try it. We'll close the gas cap. You go
Come
try
on.
it. I'm going to hold this. Can't make that up.
It's really slow. It's all the batteries slowing you down, man. You need to take that out of it. This one, ironically, probably sounds better. This dude just said the body kit's from Alibaba. Oh, genuinely? Oh, check it out. It's 355. It's gorgeous. Look at this. 355 GTS. He could use that as a donor car. Is he rolling in an E mode?
Well, he's also got a manufacturer plate.
Okay, so dealer
Good Lamborghini from LA.
from LA.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a press car.
Okay, it's a press car. Very cool.
We just remember you just met in at Goodwood.
Good to see you again, man. How's
Breeze.
things?
Dude, good.
Everything good?
Yeah,
Was it
Chris Slick stole your
first time there?
sunglasses.
I remember. As long as he's putting them to good use.
He is, I think.
That's okay. Just one of my favorite features. I know I touched on this earlier, but this exposed engine bay here, kind of a tip back to the like Veyron or Chiron, where the open engine bay. I mean, it is every bit Lamborghini, isn't it? I just think Lambo as a brand right now are absolutely killing it. If you go to the main channel, we've just done a relatively controversial video where, in my opinion anyway, it's sharing how I believe that it's the first time in history that Lamborghini have a stronger, more compelling, dare I say it, more exciting product lineup than Ferrari. I know it's a big, bold statement. Go and check out the video over on the main channel. I just think they're killing it right now, particularly with the launch of the new Pterodactyl?
Temerario.
Flat plane crank, V8, twin turbocharged, 10,000 RPM, hybrid assist, just shy of 1,000 horsepower. Well, it's 907 horsepower. Pretty substantial. So
what it looks
combined
like.
with this naturally aspirated V12 that revs to 9,500 and a 10,000 RPM twin turbocharged V8. If that was in a limited production special series car, you'd take it. In a mass-produced entry-level car, 10,000 RPM, out of a turbocharged engine, it's bonkers stuff. So that's one of the core reasons why, for me, I put forward in the video on the main channel why these guys, I think, have just dethroned Ferrari in the excitement category of product offering. So Miles just stepped out of the Revuelto.
Yeah.
How are you finding it so far?
It drives fantastic.
Yeah?
It drives fantastically. I just feel like for a car backed by a Volkswagen brand, the software, it feels like it's 20 years old. Really? I had to talk with other journalists to figure out how to get the boot seat working. It's like this whole convoluted seat launch, and it's like, it's crazy how no one's talked about how bad the software in this car kind of is, for like how new it is and how much it costs.
That's surprising. It's the first time I've heard that. You would think with the latest, greatest,
It's been out for like 6 months now, right?
and like you say, massive OEM group backing, you would think that they'd have that dialed.
Yeah. But I mean, it drives fantastically. You're just like ripping it up from up in the canyons.
What's the twin clutch box like? Because that was, for me, I wouldn't say it was a letdown in the likes of the Aventador, because it gave it theatre and character. But when they announced a twin clutch box in an NAB12, I was like, oh my god, the time has come.
Yeah, it's
How
good.
is that?
It's smooth. It fixes all the problems that people didn't like about the Aventadors, like driving at low speeds, getting into reverse is like super smooth compared to the Aventador, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not that big of a fan of like the downshifts in the car. It feels a little just like uneventful.
It's like too seamless. It's too smooth.
A little bit, whereas like in the Aventador it kind of like snapped. It was like a bit north.
Yeah.
This is like just a bit too smooth, but in Corsa it's
Okay. Brilliant. And what's it like driving a V12 flagship in E mode when you start it up?
It's very chill, and then a lot of people are like, "Where's the noise?"
Yeah,
you know,
it's strange.
Lamborghini is not known for their infotainment. They're known for their engines. But Ferrari's known for their infotainment.
It's interesting that he was saying that the infotainment sucks, because in there it looks trick. I mean, all this satin carbon's nice.
Yeah, something about
the
contract they have for the speakers it's actually god awful. The stereo in that is better than the stereo in the SVJ or this.
And the stereo in that is basically non-existent.
It's also surrounded by carbon fiber. In fact, the engine of that car creates more rattles than the stereo.
So I get questions a lot, where'd you get your glasses from? Because I do a poor job of promoting it, but we actually have our own sunglasses brand. MrJWW.com is where you can get these. We're really proud to have shipped to 67 countries now, worldwide. So no question on shipping. We're shipping to you worldwide, and they've been going down a storm out here. Speaking of storm, Huayra was a word for God of Wind. Looks pretty awesome out here, right? So the wing mirrors here were inspired by leaves blowing through the wind, hence the sculpture of them. Pretty spectacular. Okay, so I'm wondering, will we get to hear this thing? That's not bad for stock. I think that sounds quite cool. Whoa! That's what not stock sounds like on a V10. Yeah, boy! Okay, I mean, look, Revuelto sounds very cool for a stock car, considering in this day and age, because you know, everything's getting pretty sanitized, but it doesn't sound like this. Right, so the next stop, we're going to Ocean Avenue down in Carmel. It's a bit of a tradition every evening, towards the end of the day, catching sunset. It's a big gathering, effectively. What's interesting and unique to Monterey Car Week, unlike, for example, the Goodwood Festival of Speed, for example, is that the events are spread everywhere. They're spread all over the place, and so you can't actually go to everything. And so one of the things is that it keeps you coming back every year because you think, okay, next year I'll do that event and this year I'll do this one. But there's something about Ocean Avenue at the end of the day, most people come and descend there and catch up and see how people have been doing. So it's a good meeting spot. This is why that place is so cool. Just very special cars driving all over the place. Check that out. Casual Koenigseggs driving around on the road for real. The caliber of cars is so special that it's like the best mobile car spotting you're gonna do anywhere. It doesn't matter where you point the camera, everything looks beautiful. Particularly this time of day, like sundown. Oh, Daniel's letting us through. Thank you, sir. How great does that look? It's like something from an advert. See that R34? Also, there's a lot of this going on. A lot of this because sometimes people get a little bit excited. I need a camera on my head at all times so that you can see what I'm seeing. And I kind of like this point of view here, where I'm able to talk to you while I'm driving along. Maybe if I kind of just shuffle the camera like that way. If you've never been to Monterey Car Week and you like cars, just do whatever it takes. It's even if it's a once in a lifetime thing, right? I feel it's probably the best car event in the world. And it's funny because when I speak to Americans who come over for the Goodwood Festival of Speed, they prefer the Festival of Speed. And I speak to Brits who come over for Monterey Car Week, and they prefer Monterey Car Week. And I think it's a classic case of aspiring or wanting what you can't have, right? But it seems that the guys from the US who come to Monterey a lot, they like the fact that the Festival of Speed is a self-contained event, and the cars are racing and they're going super fast and they're dynamic, and the cars that launch brand new out of the box are going as fast as they can up a hill, dynamically, which to be fair is very special and super rare. But what we like as Brits, and I guess Europeans coming over, is that it isn't self-contained and it's spread all over this beautiful town of Monterey and Cannery. And you go to the Quail and Pebble Beach, and then you go to 17 Mile Drive, and all of these events are peppered across all of these different locations. My favorite thing to do, which we haven't done yet this year, and we'll take you along for it, is villa hopping. So in the hills above 17 Mile Drive, the major OEMs, they rent, like imagine Airbnb up to 11. They rent the biggest villas, the most baller pads in the whole area. Gen 1 GT3 RS. They rent the most baller pads in the whole of Monterey, above 17 Mile Drive, and they're kind of open house, and you can drive to them and just pop in. But they rebrand all of the villas, so you'll go into like Maserati House and it's serving Italian food, and they've taken all of the owner's artwork down and put up all of their own artwork, and they've themed all of the rooms. And you walk in and you'll meet the CEO, and you'll meet the designer who'll hand sketch you a drawing that he was thinking of at that time. It's very special. Honestly, when I get back, we're gonna have to have a talk about considerations for the garage. Let's just put it that way. You ready? Downshift to first. The usability of first gear as well, it's so long. Like, I'm not sure I can remember the last time that I used first gear in a supercar so much. It's kind of hard to convey it. I sometimes get back home and I start speaking to friends and I'm like, dude, there are the world's greatest cars. There's an F430 there. Like, the world's greatest cars are just driving around casually. The howl of that V12, what a machine. Can't quite see it here, but that truck in front has a massive camera rig on the front of it. Oh, sorry, on the back of it. You see it? No doubt he knows the DDE cars and he can tag us and share some of this content. Should be funny because I'm filming him, filming us. The part of the road that we're driving on now is leading up to this place called 17 Mile Drive that I was speaking about earlier on. And this is where the hyper villas are that the brands take out. Have some of that. So one of the things I'm sure you've probably picked up on is since Damon had the interior of this car entirely retrimmed with a skinned smurf, the blue reflection that is in the windscreen is such that it's quite glary, right? It's quite glaring. And so perhaps the lens which is looking through this windscreen right now is not quite as clear as it might be, and you might be able to pick up on some, like this sort of blue filter. But hey, so now I'm giving him a Murcielago enema. Woo! Come on, look at that view. Are you serious right now? Look at the view! And you wonder why us Brits like Monterey so much. Can you imagine? As a petrol head, this being on the calendar? Look at the place! Nice turbo here. Woo. Check out this 458. That is gorgeous. Check this out. So we're about to catch the shuttle to Lamborghini House. Yeah, I think we're at the right place. All right, here we are. Rocked up to Lamborghini House. Celebratory party for the launch of the new the Temerario. So I know inside here there's going to be music and stuff, so I'm going to show you a lineup of these cars and then we'll call it a night. So I actually think they drove this down, Nico. Glad that is the same car. So this is not an operating, working, driving car.
The question was, does this work? The answer is
yes,
it does.
Evidently it does. What a lineup. Yeah. So I gotta say, Lambo, possibly the best house of Car Week.
Yes.
It's what you can't see is that the other side of there, this is right on the seafront. It is very, very cool.
And you have the beach literally there, and on the right side you have the golf course. It's insane.
Highly cool. Ooh, I've seen a Temerario in a different color.
Where?
Let's go right in the back there.
What do you think of it?
I'm blown away by it.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it so much.
Think about this. Other products that sit in this competitive category, in this class. McLaren Artura, V6 hybrid. Ferrari 296, V6 hybrid.
Incredible car.
Incredible car.
Wrong badge, wrong people.
Right.
But
however, this thing, twin turbocharged, flat plane V8,
10,000
RPM. Right? Mic drop.
Yeah.
For the product category where it sits. I honestly think the performance of this is not going to be a million miles away from the performance of that.
Is this not 900 horsepower?
907 horsepour.
That is insane.
Yeah, I think it's 920 PS.
You know the funny bit is, right? The first time I saw it earlier today, I was like, is that a Gallardo? See how flat that is? That's different.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it is.
How flat that is. And I was like,
I think the aesthetics bang on.
I really, really love it.
It's so cool. So this is going to be special. I cannot wait to experience that thing at 10,000 RPM. The other thing to say here is 10,000 RPM in a naturally aspirated engine. That's impressive in itself. 10,000 RPM in a turbocharged engine is a different ball game, and then they've gone and mass produced it. That's a whole other ball game.
Look at this. I love that. I love that outrage.
The cutout arches. That's very Squadra Corsa GT3 car.
I love that.
I love that. It's fantastic.
GT3 RS.
Isn't it cool?
I love it.
Do you know what else is wild? This is day one. This is their entry level attempt at this. One day there'll be an STO version of that. Can you imagine?
Where's Ferrari with his entry level? They're Roma. Stick that up your hole.
I'm not sure if this is an option that they've launched, but it's the first time that I've seen it in person. Have you seen how much carbon is draped across this?
It is ridiculous. This whole thing is carbon.
Look at this. Massive carbon wing. All of the engine bay and cover is all carbon. All of the roof is carbon. This custom accenting pinstripe all the way down here, all the way down the A-pillars. These vents, wing mirrors, matching pinstriping. That is a hell of a spec. Look at that machine. Urus SE? First time I've seen this in person. I'm not a fan of the SE. I think it kind of means like standard edition, not special edition somehow. Right, so we were just talking about the massive sort of early arch delete, as it were, on the back of the Temerario. Even that hasn't got as much arch delete as that car.
No.
I think that's spectacular.
I'm wondering how that sounds.
That diffuser doesn't sound ridiculous because that's still V10 era. So these things sound spectacular.
What do you
Look
think
at
of the
that.
fact they moved to V8?
Look, everyone else downsized in that product category to a V6.
Yeah.
So the fact that they went to a V8, I think is at least making the most of the situation. You know, it's not the brand's fault. Like they want to put V12s and V10s and all sorts of things, but the rules and regulations of emissions, etc., don't always allow for it. So I think they have done an amazing job of maintaining a V8. Look at those
Bloody
seats.
love that collar.
Game changer. I gotta check out these seats. This almost looks a different car. Oh, this is the one with the optional upgraded aero pack on it. Look at this, man. We got carbon wheels, ceramic brakes.
And I want one fast. Very fast.
Wow, that will also no doubt be a substantial contribution to the weight saving on this pack. Satin carbon shifters, they're almost a quarter of the circumference of the whole wheel there. And this as well. This is a more slightly exaggerated flick, dare I say it, ducktail wing at the rear here. What a piece of kit, look at that. Wonderful thing.
I want it.
When you get up close, I don't think pictures do this thing justice. There's a lot of aero sculpture going on here. Look at the cooling here. Look at that. There's quite a lot of like thermal optimization here to extract heat.
This is not going to sound nice. It is what it is. We just need to wait for Alex to make an exhaust, don't we?
Yeah, Alex, hurry up, mate. Hurry up. Hey, this is awesome.